Welcome back, guys, to the start of the ABL Sports NFL team season previews, where we preview all 32 NFL teams going into this season. Welcome back. It was a long video break. We're excited to kick this off, and we're going to get right into it with the AFC Super Bowl favorite, the Buffalo Bills, and might be my pick to make the Super Bowl. I don't want to spoil anything yet, though. But the Bills, this is the first season in a while where there feels like there's a lot of newness with the Bills. I'm going to start with the obvious. Sean McDermott got fired after the divisional round game. They hired Joe Brady. A lot of people had mixed feelings about that, but this was my philosophy on this. It's just not letting the guy out of the building. We've seen the past couple of years what has happened. For example, the most recent example, the Bucks. Liam Cohen leaves for the Jaguars. They keep Todd Bowles after, an early playoff exit against the Commanders. This year, kind of a disaster. And the offense was pretty good before injuries, and the defense just wasn't good. And that was Todd Bowles' side of the ball. Kind of before that, Ben Johnson leaves the Lions. All of a sudden, Lions' offense isn't the best in the NFL. Go back even a couple years ago. Mike McDonald leaves the Ravens for the Seahawks, and then the Seahawks beat our Super Bowl champions, and the Ravens are just meh. So going into this season, you got Joe Brady, and you take it from me, Joe Brady, if he didn't get hired by the Bills this year, he would have gotten the Cardinals job or the Raiders job or one of the other jobs out there. Basically, it was for the Bills. It was either fire Sean McDermott, keep Joe Brady in the building, or have what happened with Brian Dable a couple years ago, where, when Brian Dable left for the Giants after 2021, that offense was kind of down for a couple years. I know Josh Allen was having some of the best years of his career, but, like that offense was down before Joe Brady came in. So, in my opinion, the Bills did make the right move with Joe Brady. And I like the hires he made. So you have Jim Leonard as defensive coordinator. So a lot of college football fans are familiar with Jim Leonard. I am. He was Wisconsin's defensive coordinator for like I think almost 10 years and was the interim for a bit. Phenomenal defensive coordinator. Carmichael, just a veteran running the offense. Jeff Rogers, special teams coordinator. And now, what did Joe Brady do in his first offseason with the Bills? So I'm going to start with the big obvious move. They trade for DJ Moore from the Bears for a second round pick. This is, I don't want to say he's the best receiver Josh Allen's ever had because Josh Allen did have a prime Stephon Diggs, and I think Diggs had like 1,400 yards multiple years with the Bills. I mean, he was great. Um, but yeah, no, DJ Moore, he was the addition that made headlines. And then they signed Bradley Chubb to a 3-year deal to kind of help that pass rush because this pass rush did struggle down the stretch last year. And they need more than Ed Oliver inside. They need Gregory Rousseau to have another great year, which we get into. They signed CJ Gardner-Johnson, Gene Stone, and D. Alford to the secondary um, to kind of improve the secondary a bit. So pretty solid offseason. I didn't like their draft too much. I know they didn't have a lot of draft capital to begin with, but they traded their out of the first round. They got TJ Parker from Clemson, who everyone kept saying, oh, he's going to be so good, and he just never turned out to be very good. I like the corner from Ohio State, Davison Igbenogany. I thought he was a good pick. And I like Kilgore from South Carolina and Zane Durant from Penn State were pretty solid late round picks, guys who will probably make the roster. So the Bills overall, I mean, they had a they had a decent offseason. Obviously, when they think of the Bill, everyone thinks of the Bills offseason, they're gonna think of, oh, like, oh, well, like they got DJ Moore. But no, it was far more than DJ Moore, but obviously DJ Moore will be the headliner, and as he should. I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the league, will probably be a very good fantasy guy or fantasy football guy this year. So, moving on, we're going to kind of evaluate the Bills depth chart real fast. So, obviously, Josh Allen, best quarterback in the league, could very well win the MVP again. And now, like, every for the last couple of years, it's always been Josh Allen has no weapons. Ever since Diggs left, it's like, oh, Josh Allen has no weapons. He's got DJ Moore this year. Khalil Shakir, even though he's a really good player, he's more of a two than a one. Maybe even a three on a real championship team. So Khalil Shakir finally gets to go in that number two receiver slot. I think he'll thrive in it. He had a pretty good year last year. This year, I'm expecting 70 catches, maybe 1,000 yards and like 8, 9 touchdowns. DJ Moore, I mean, he could have a monster year. The offensive line, I'm gonna be honest, outside of Deion Dawkins, is a little lackluster, which scares me because I mean, it feels like for years the Bills' offensive line has been lackluster, and it just hasn't been any like, and there hasn't been anything done about it. Tight end, I really like. Dalton Kincaid's really starting to come into his own, and he pairs nicely with Dawson Knox and James Cook. Obviously, a great running back. They gave him a bunch of money this offseason. Hopefully, it pans out. I don't know if I would pay him that much money, but he seems to be good. Josh Allen seems to like him. Now moving on to the defensive side of the ball. So the defensive line, like I said, it's it's still a bit of a question. Gregory Rousseau, like him a lot. They already paid him. Ed Oliver, like him, maybe a little overpaid, getting a little old. TJ Parker, he's going to be competing with, I believe, TJ Sanders for a starting spot. And also I like they signed Mike Dana too, who is I like a lot, Chiefs guy. And then Bradley Chubb will kind of help head that linebacker group. In the secondary, Cole Bishop's a great returning guy, and I want to talk about CJ Gardner Johnson for a minute because it feels like every year, like we're like, oh, CJ Gardner Johnson's good, but no team ever gives him a long-term deal. And apparently, he's not a great locker room guy. I do trust the Bills locker room; they have a good culture in place. Even though Sean McDermott left, it's still a really solid, culture, if you will. And I trust Joe Brady with that. I mean, he's been around a lot of great culture guys. He's been around Ed Orgeron at LSU, been in the college game for a while, and was around Sean McDermott, who had the Bills job for 9 years. So he obviously had to have known something about building a culture. And also, a guy I also want to talk about too, who doesn't get enough love, and I just think he is so good. Ray Davis. He is a great special teams guy, good running back to me. When James Cook goes down, Ray Davis is the guy. And yeah, I just want to say, like, Ray Davis, very good player. So now moving on, we're going to preview their schedule. And last year, you could argue the Bills had a pretty easy schedule to open the year. This year, it is not the case. So they have another early bye. And so I'm just looking at the schedule right now. So they got to open, they have the Houston at Houston, which is, I mean, tough. And they lost to Houston last year. Houston kind of controlled the whole game. Like, these are their first 5 games. This is the toughest first 5 games I've seen in a while. Texans, Lions at home to open it as a home opener, Chargers at home, Patriots at home, Rams on the road. You're playing 5 playoff teams. Like, four of the 4 playoff teams from last year. I know the Lions didn't make it last year, but I believe the Lions are going to be a playoff team this year. I'm going to go very deep into the playoffs. That is a tough 5 games. I mean, if they get out of that game, and they got the Raiders after that. So let's say they beat the Raiders. If they are 3-3 before their bye in the first 6 weeks, I think that's a win. I really do. Like, that is like looking at it, I mean, even the first 2 weeks, if you go 1-1, I think that's a huge win, regardless of what team you are. You can be the Rams if you had that schedule the first couple of weeks, that'd be a win. I'm probably expecting, if I had to put my money on it now, I would say they lose to the Texans, and I actually think they probably lose to the Lions too, because the Lions have been known early on in the season to just dominate. And then I do think they'll beat the Chargers and Patriots at home and probably lose to the Rams on the road. They lost a shootout to them a couple years ago, so they'll be probably 3-3 going into the bye. But then their schedule really opens up and becomes much easier. You got the Ravens, the Vikings, the Jets, and Dolphins all before you take on the Chiefs. Those 4 games, you have to win those 4 games. I know everyone's like the Ravens, they are not the team they used to be. And the Vikings, we don't know we think the quarterback's gonna be Kyler Murray, but he hadn't been any good the past couple of years. So if you are the Bills from November 1st to November 22nd, you have to go 4-0, considering you have a very tough first 5 games. I mean, honestly, we'll go sorry, in this 5 game stretch against the Raiders, the Ravens, the Vikings, the Jets, and the Dolphins. If you are the Bills, you have to go 5-0 in that stretch. Why do you ask? Because the first 5 games, like I said, is Texans, Lions, Chargers, Patriots, Rams. They have the toughest first 5 games in the NFL, but they have the easiest next 5 games. So if you're the Bills, winning those second 5 games, games 6 through 10, that's not an like it's not a maybe we lose one. You have to win all of them. And then after those 5 games, you got the Chiefs at Patriots, which is going to be tough, at Packers Sunday Night Football. Then you got the Bears, and then at Broncos. So, I mean, it's just like boom, 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 boom. Like you have a hard five, a soft five, and then a super hard like five again. So if I'm the Bills and we'll just go through the record right now, see what we think. Let's just say Lusa, so let's say they start the season 3-3. They play the Ravens. That's 4-3. They beat Vikings 5-3. They win at Jets 6-3. They win at Dolphins or Dolphins at home 7-3. Chiefs they've kind of beaten in the regular season a lot, so I give them that 8-3. Um, Patriots, I think they probably lose that game at New England, so we'll just say 8-4. Packers and Bears, they split those, so let's say 9-5. I think they get the revenge on Broncos on Christmas, 10-5. And let's say Dolphins and Jets, let's just say they split those because they're division games. So 11-6 is the Bills' most likely record. I could easily see it being better. I don't really see it being much worse. I do think the Bills will be a very solid football team. But like I said, there is no excuse for the Bills not to go 5-0 against the Raiders, Ravens, Vikings, Jets, Dolphins. Like it's a must. Like the Raiders, like those will be figuring things out in the beginning of the year, and the Ravens aren't the Ravens from before. So now, what do I think the Bills are going to do beyond the regular season? So in the regular season, I I think they'll be good in the playoffs. I think they're going to pull off some wins this year. Like I really do think the Bills are going to go on a run in this postseason, and I think the Bills could very well be the AFC representation in the Super Bowl this year. Because if you're looking at the AFC, the Texans, if CJ Stroud plays above average, it's a mute point. The Texans are winning the ACC. But the Chiefs, Mahomes coming off an ACL, Jaguars, I don't think are going to be any good. Broncos, Chargers might beat themselves up against each other this year. The AFC North, maybe the Bengals. But if you're the Bills, this is your year to win the AFC. I can't promise you're going to win the Super Bowl because the NFC has probably the three best teams in the NFL. But getting to at least the AFC Championship game this year is a must for the Bills. And on that, we're going to end the video. Thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow, tune in for the Patriots season preview, and we'll see you guys next time.